Okay. um, how's everyone doing? Everyone safe, healthy, happy?
So far, so good.
Okay. Um, today's a little light day on our schedule. We have this morning call, and then we have the 11 o'clock daily call from the Market Center. And then we have a buyer presentation class that we have scheduled for, what is it, 1:30. Okay, so at 1:30 today, we will be going through the buyer presentation class. What I have in mind for that, by the way, is there's for as many agents as you ask, you're going to get a different opinion on what a buyer presentation should be. And my goal for later today is really to give you a couple different perspectives, but to hone in primarily on the buyer presentation that is taught in Ignite, and kind of give you a command spin to it. But what's most important is a couple of specific goals, which we'll touch on. But it should be applicable for agents of all levels, right? Because if you are not setting proper expectations and you are not letting your people know about new technology that you have access to, and you are not very clearly focused on several and very, very important goals in the appropriate order, then you may not accomplish your goal of the appointment. And the goal of the appointment, put quite simply, is to develop the relationship, right? Deepen the relationship and get paperwork signed, right? Let's give them the impression that not working with you would just be insane, right? Why would they choose to go through this process with somebody who either isn't as skilled as you or doesn't care as much as you? What? Does that make sense? Right? So why would they go through the process with you or without you? Because you are more skilled than the average agent and you care more than the average agent. Make sense? All right. Let's talk about some celebrations. I just want to give Stephanie a quick props. There are a lot of agents in the country, and Stephanie put more people in her database than in this last week than any other ramp up student out there. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're becoming a national celebrity.
That's all.
I know you think I'm saying that in jest, but the world is a very big and a very small place all at once, right? And the leaders that we choose to get in business with have a lot of exposure, right? And so when you get an opportunity to get that type of recognition, it's a big deal, right? Who do you think somebody would want to have as their accountability partner? The person who puts a lot of people in their database, or the person who doesn't put a lot of people in the database, right? Who do you think they want as a script partner? Who do you think they want to, interview to say, hey, how are you using the this program to help me grow my business? So when you excel in one room, you generally end up moving to the next room, right? And the next room is generally filled with people that are have a little bit more audience, have a little bit more skill, have a little bit more reputation, and more than likely there's opportunity all over the place. So we should not make light of that accomplishment. So good job. All right, I want to talk about a couple of ideas again. Let's just do a really quick check. Who has been checking in with their accountability partner, and who needs a new accountability partner?
My accountability partner and I are discussing a plan.
Okay. What is your ideal accountability relationship look like, Heather?
So she's a fairly new agent, which is not a big deal, but she's caught in the fires of being a new agent and having everything thrown at her.
Yes.
We initially partnered up for Ramp, which honestly, I haven't touched Ramp in weeks. So I'm just going to say, hey, I wrote all these, I'm in 3 contracts, so give me my refund. That's what I'm about to do, and then just do ramp along the way. But my accountability partner has been fairly busy with things, both personally and professionally. And so I reached out to her last night and I said, or yesterday afternoon, and I said, do you want to continue doing this? And she said, oh, well, I'm inundated with a lot of things. Let me know. And I said, well, I'm looking for someone who can hold me accountable and that I can hold accountable, and really who's going to keep me in check with the things that I say I want to do. So if you think that's you, let me know. And if not, let's talk about it and, just cut ties and find another partner. She hasn't responded yet.
Can I give you some advice?
Sure.
You are interested in coaching on this matter?
Yeah.
She's fired.
Okay.
Okay. Because the one thing that came out the loudest in what you were just saying,
mm-hmm.
is this woman has no control over her calendar.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's that simple.
Right.
Are you busy?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of things being thrown at you?
Yes. And so just to say equally, I have not, she said like, oh, I'm, overwhelmed a couple of weeks back. And I just kind of laid back and was like, okay, I'm going to let her figure it out. And I hadn't reached out to her until yesterday to say, hey, I'm still going to do this.
So I would give her an ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this sounds a little harsh, but say my accountability partner and we speak at 8 a.m. or whatever time it is for 5 minutes every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we text each other the results of our activities at 6 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Every day, no exceptions.
Okay.
And if there's an exception, I need to know about it at like lunchtime, right? You're sick, your daughter's sick, whatever.
Right.
There's very few excuses that are acceptable, but there's definitely no, what if you showed up, do you remember the idea of no call, no show,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to work at a lot of restaurants. If you didn't call, if you didn't show and you didn't call, you didn't
right. You don't have a table.
Back.
Yeah.
Like this is a responsibility. Like if you commit to being my partner,
mm-hmm.
given these expectations, that's what I expect of you.
Yeah.
Right. And if there's some type of personal thing going on that's causing you not to be able to give me 5 minutes for the benefit of you, we have to part ways. So I would redefine your relationship and give her or him an expectation and hold their feet to the fire.
Okay.
Okay. And, we don't expect you to be able to snap your fingers, by the way, and have perfect control of your calendar.
Right.
But that's what an accountability partner is for.
Right.
Is to say, hey, tell me a little bit about where you succeeded in your calendar plan today. Okay, great. All right, tell me a little bit about where you failed. Let me tell you a tip I learned. Let me tell you what my coach told me. Here's a strategy that I think really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they're not interested in that type of relationship, they're not the right partner for you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, talk to me. What else is going on? What else is new? Who else is having success with accountability partner, and who else is having a little struggle? Stephanie.
Well, Kim and I are doing really well, I think, as accountability partners. Today we're working on our scripts. Each day we communicate. We hold each other accountable.
So walk me through what that looks like, just briefly.
For the scripts or for?
Just the general relationship. What do you expect of each other? What have you committed to?
So we meet twice a week for 30 minutes, but that's when we meet like either FaceTime or Zoom. Other than that, we're texting each day. We're telling each other what we're going to do. And then we text each other either a picture of what we've done or just a little text that we've done what we said we were going to do.
Great. Has there ever been a time where that you didn't do what you had planned or Kim didn't do what she had planned?
We've had a change of plans, but we've communicated that with each other.
No, I mean, in terms of, let's say Kim said, I'm going to make 15 phone calls today and she didn't do it. Has that happened?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So that's even better news. I was expecting you to say it had happened. And what an accountability partner would do is say, hey, let's try to examine what obstacles popped up that caused this to happen. And ultimately, you're going to find that it's probably something you could have controlled had you had a better awareness about it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I met with my accountability partner yesterday at 4 o'clock to 4:30. And then we typically share our 411. We share our 411s yesterday after the meeting.
Okay.
And then every morning we usually text each other, and then in the evening we text about whether or not we met our goals and stuff like that.
All right. Can I coach you on that for a second?
Sure.
I'm a little concerned about the word usually.
Okay.
Usually means that it's okay if it doesn't happen.
Uh,
Is it okay if you don't get paid this month?
no.
Okay, then no more usually.
Okay. So we text in the morning and then in the afternoon, and we are meeting on Mondays at 4:30.
Okay, so just as a reminder, you may want to get back with that person today and say, no more usually, buddy.
Okay.
I need a text every day, and I'm going to text you every day, and I want a response because I take this thing seriously. Got it? Okay. All right. I found a page that I just wanted to share with you guys. As you've kind of figured out, these meetings are a little, I don't want to say erratic, but I just have a lot of information that I want to share with you. So here is a picture of something that I want to share. Has anyone read the book Profit First?
No.
Okay, there's a concept, there's a book that Gary Keller is really fond of right now that's called Profit First. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the top picture is essentially how we're taught to think of money. Okay, this is the flow of money. You get paid, right? That's the income. Then you spend money and you have some left over, that's profit, right? And we calculate the profit by subtracting your expenses, what goes out, from your income, which is what goes in. And the issue here is that a lot of times you don't actually have any profit. Or if you are a somebody that is kind of getting some organization around the financials of your business, and this could be applicable for your personal business or for your personal budget as well. There's kind of profit is almost happenstance. It's kind of like, if there's profit, great. If there's not profit, I need to try to figure out how to make an adjustment for that. This guy wrote a book called Profit First, which puts it the other way around. And they say, what is your profit goal? Okay, let's just flip the whole thing. So flip the profit formula to set and track your profit goals and ask yourself the following questions. How much money do I want in my account at the end of the year? Or end of the week, or end of the month, whatever it is. So let's just say, for example, I'm just going to spitball some numbers. Let's say you want $10,000 monthly profit. Okay, so how many homes am I going to need to sell in order to achieve my profit goal? Question number 2. So now we go to income, which is a reference to the economic model, which basically says that if I want to make to gross, let's say $150,000 this year, I'm going to need to sell X number of homes. So if we won't spend a ton of time on the economic model right now. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about that we've posted. But then you get a kind of a awareness of what that lead goal is. Then you go back and say, well, if I want to make 150 and I want to put, let's say, 100 in my pocket, then I can only spend 50. So where is that 50 going to get spent? So rather than using the profit as the biggest variable, use the expenses as the biggest variable. Does that make sense? And adjust the income if necessary. Now, if I haven't been perfectly clear with you guys, the coronavirus is not going to get solved in the next week. Okay. I wish it was different, but it is flat out not different. And we are going to need to examine every dollar that leaves our accounts and that enters our accounts. And every dollar that you save is a dollar more you got to your name. And I'm not trying to be fear mongering here, but you need to spend a few minutes, if not a few hours, examining every dollar that you're spending. Okay. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions on that?
No.
Okay. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
I
guys?
do. I was just wondering, what would Keller Williams do? Because the president sounds like he's going to open things back up in 7 days. And then, so how do you handle that if you know, do you follow that kind of guideline, or do you still protect yourselves and your clients?
Are you talking about, well,
Like, he's just kind of saying, like, we're going to kind of go back to normal in 7 days. He wants to get the economy going, and we're going to go back to normal in 7 days.
with all due respect, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And he's just trying to make sure the stock market doesn't fall to pieces.
So
Okay?
that's what I'm trying to get my head around.
There is no way in hell we're going to go back to normal in 7 days. And if by chance that does happen, then there's two major decisions that need to be made on how you're going to react to this. Number one
Right.
is, what is your level of comfort
Right.
doing all these behaviors? And number two, what is your client's level of comfort in doing all these behaviors?
Right.
And that's really what it boils down to. But Kim, I mean, I'm not pro-Trump or anti-Trump, but he everything he says has an agenda.
Right.
Everything. And it's not just him, it's every politician.
Right.
Right.
I
They're trying
understand.
to make sure that this thing doesn't come crashing down.
Right. I get that. I was just wondering if you had any insight onto how Keller was are we going to start going back into the office? Is the office going to open back up? Those are the sorts
I mean, ultimately, I'm only a very small peg in those decision-making policies, but certainly it is a pretty significant inconvenience to have a virtual market center. I mean, if you knew how many hours that our team was spending trying to figure out how to make sure you guys get paid promptly, you would never leave Keller Williams, right? So it's a bit of a pain in the ass to pull all this off. So the second we feel that it's safe to go back, we're probably going to go back.
Okay.
But in the meantime, it's a good transition to a couple other things that I want to talk about this morning. Number one is, hang on. All right. I also let me give you an update on the Google Drive. So there's a CRM out there that is called Lion Desk, and they put out a big script book yesterday. So I downloaded that and uploaded it into our thing. There's no perfect script. I mean, there's a lot of perfect scripts, but there's not only one way to say it to these people. So I'm just going to put a lot of stuff in that box, and you guys can kind of comb through it and see what resonates with you. But it's another 20-something pages of scripts. There's also Ignite 2.0 has been released. And we're probably going to start teaching that, but I think I mentioned to you the other day that we're waiting on approval from GREC to make sure that we can get the 25-hour post license with the new material. So that's why Melba hasn't started to teach it yet, but the graphs and the content is available, and that is in your Google Drive right now. And there was a script book in there that was kind of hidden in another document. So I separated it, and now the script book is a little bit more obvious. So please take some time to review the Ignite scripts as well. Even if you're very experienced, I would recommend that you comb through the Ignite program because it really touches on some important things with respect to the lead generation model, et cetera. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on this later, but one thing that I wanted to hang on. I'm going to share my screen one more time. And show
So
you.
Bill, when you say go back through Ignite, has it changed since we've taken it in October?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Yes. Okay. So I want to just point out this model really fast. Everything is about models, right? We need some context and some structure in which to think about a lot of these ideas, right? So Can everyone see this graph right here?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's just kind of visualize how this works. Okay, we want to run a prospecting based and marketing enhanced business, particularly in this type of environment. Prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Okay, back 15, 20 years ago, it was flipped. Okay, and what we generally find is most business leads with marketing. And that's why most businesses don't last, quite frankly, because we need to lead with revenue. Prospecting is generally a lot cheaper than marketing, right? So the goal of prospecting and marketing is to capture opportunity, capture leads. A lead, and this is some phraseology that you're going to hear a lot from Keller Williams, leads are one-way and offer-based touch programs. These are people that you've not met and they have not communicated with you. Could be like a farm or something. Ultimately, when you deliver enough value and touches to them and you create a two-way exchange, they become what's called a contact. And then you take all the people that you have had contacts with, that you have these touch programs with, and eventually they move into the cultivate stage. Cultivate is an interactive and action-based touch program. That's where you basically identify the roughly 6.5% of the people in your database that are going to each year that are going to transact business with you. Right? And that's when you're nurturing and qualifying. You're delivering a little bit more value, right, to those people. They may be people on searches and these kind of things. And ultimately, they then go into the appointment phase, then the active, under contract, and close. And the cool part about it is that Command is structured in the exact same way. So remember we talked about that line with the dot on the end, and part of it was lead generation, the next part was follow-up, and the next part was transaction management. This follows exactly this idea. And all the stages and opportunities follow this idea. So today we're going to focus on number 5, the buyer appointment. So we'll come back to that here shortly. I want to read a couple of things to you really fast. Number 1, there is a giant difference between growing and running your business. Okay, so this is an idea they actually talk a lot at Ignite about, and I've basically retaken Ignite, or I'm in the middle of retaking Ignite right now, just so I know what you guys are learning and what you should be learning. Growing your business. Well, let's start off with a different idea. If you don't grow your business, you ain't gonna have anything to run. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here are the tasks of growing a business. Lead generation for buyers and sellers. Going on seller listing presentations and taking listings. Going on buyer presentations and taking buyer listings. And previewing real estate. Okay, so I need to make sure you're perfectly clear on something. Yes, a lot of you need to do some learning. Definitely so. That's why we're dedicating nearly half of our day to that. But don't forget that the purpose of business is to get in front of people and present to them. Okay, so we need to lead generate for buyers and lead generate for sellers. We need to make listing presentations and buyer presentations, and we need to familiarize ourselves with the marketplace. Running your business is what you get to do when you go create some opportunity. If you don't do the actions to create the opportunity, you don't even get to run the business. Running the business is marketing the seller listings, showing the buyers the houses, negotiating contracts, transaction management, vendor management, setting goals, all the compliance and risk management, going on training and getting coaching, and managing your money. Okay, so I want you to examine the activities that you're doing during the day. Please lean towards growing the business rather than running the business. Okay, there is a lot of agents that are essentially paralyzed right now, and they believe, in part because they've been taught this by their leaders, that it's basically vacation time, right? And the people who put their head down in this time and lead with their heart, yet they don't lose track of what you're supposed to do on a daily basis, they will be light years ahead of those that are taking a vacation right now. Any thoughts on that?
I'm really surprised at how many people are treating this like a vacation. And I mean, it's just, I have all these emotions about what's going on. And then, I think people are working from home, but they're still treating it like a vacation. It's weird to me.
Well, can I ask you a blunt question, Kathy?
No, you just
Um,
did.
That's true.
Go
Can I
ahead.
ask you? Can I ask you an additional blunt question?
Yes.
You've been in the business a long time. Hasn't it
Yes.
always surprised you how little, how many agents treat this not seriously,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how
Right.
many agents treat this like a hobby?
Right.
And with all due respect to you guys, you're working with each other and with me, and I don't intend for you to be on the back page of the top-down report, but it's kind of soul-crushing to look at that sometimes. How we have like easily 60-70% of our agents that are making less than 30 grand a year. I'm not saying that's a lot. I'm not saying that's a little. I'm just suggesting I think your goal is to make more than that. And when I see
Right.
that somebody puts in a decent amount of effort and makes 10 grand in a year, it kills me inside. You were going to say something, Kathy?
I was going to say I used to treat it like a hobby when my husband worked for a big corporation. It was when I first started it, I did treat it like a hobby because I had children at home, and but then as they got older and I had more freedom from their schedule and time for my work schedule, I started growing my business. And then when my husband semi-retired from his job, it pretty much came on me. And he does help me. He knows the market. He knows what I should be listing a house for, what I should be making an offer for when I do that. But the lead generation is on me mostly. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he loves the numbers part of it. I love the people part of it.
there you go. You make a good team. And the thing is not everyone is going to perform. Not everyone is going to knock it out of the park, right? It's the degree to which you are serious about your goals and willing to do the activities you have to do to achieve those goals will dictate your success. And this business is it's hard and stressful, and there's a lot of high highs and low lows, and some people just aren't cut out for it, and it's okay. But the thing is while you watch these people let a lot of negativity into their world, and you let a lot of things sidetrack their core behaviors, the ones that are most critical to their success, just think to yourself, is this what I want? Right? Is this the way am I running a business, or am I just kind of participating in a hobby? And just focus on how you're going to, focus on why you're doing it in the first place. And maybe today is a good day to really hone in on that, right? Why are we doing this, right? Why are we willing to put ourselves through the extra stress? Why do we most likely leave a job with benefits that had a steady paycheck so that we could do what we're currently doing? What drove that decision? Because the more clear you get on that, the more clear you'll be on, and the more disciplined you'll be on what you have to do each day. Right?
Hey, Bill, I wanted to say something. This is Anu.
Yeah.
So when this thing started taking effect, whatever, a few weeks ago, I was like, oh no, this is bad timing for a new agent like me, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was kind of feeling a little down. And then I said, wait a minute, this is an opportunity. I have more time to get trained, to really get my systems in place and things that you have already mentioned to us. But then it is true that it is mindset. And yes, of course, there are some days I'm like, what am I doing here? Am I cut out? I keep doubting myself. But this morning, I'm like, no, I got to do this. I got into this for a reason. I'm going to give it my best shot.
I love
I
that.
just want to share.
I will thank you for sharing that. I will tell you, when I got into the business, it was also lousy market. And by the way, this isn't like the world hasn't fallen apart yet. At
Right.
least, right.
This is a blip.
There's still a lot of stuff going on. We're just quarantined basically. Here's the thing: the habit. If you get through this successfully, it's going to be proof you had good habits, right? And the habits you develop today for lead generation and the systems you develop for building and maintaining your business, and the skill set that you build based on these unique times, you will absolutely clobber this business when we come out of this. Right?
It's
Clobber.
good to know. Yeah.
There were
Can I add
days.
something
There were
really
days
quick?
where I was. What's that, Heather?
I just wanted to add something really quick on that. So yesterday I finally got around to listening to the Ben Kinney podcast that you sent to us,
Yeah.
which was absolutely amazing. So good. And I love to read. And sometimes lately I find like, oh my gosh, I'm too tired to read at night. Like I open my book, I read a page and I'm like passed out. So I said, I put it on my 411 that I'm going to read 2 times a day, 15-minute segments, right?
Love it.
One of the things, thank you. One of the things I did this morning was like, hey, let me go back into shift and read prior to the tactics. And on page 12 and 13, page 12 introduces the idea of the law of equilibrium at the very bottom of it. And so it talks about the 80-20% rule and, 20% people do 80% of the work. But the law of equilibrium goes into talking about like how you're going to survive in a shift and what you're doing right now in this downtime. If you're thinking that it's a vacation, you're going to fail when this is all over. So I thought that was like kind of,
I highlighted that line on page 14 that says, to thrive in an upshift, you must first survive the downshift.
on page 14. Yeah.
Towards the bottom of 14. I mean, guys, Heather's got the shift book right next to her computer. She referenced I love Kathy. I saw that highlighting. Good job. We all need to like carry this around and read it constantly. This is like our Bible this week. Okay. She says a page number. I just reach over and I got the shift book. It's proof I'm paying attention and it's proof I'm serious about this. Okay. I got a case of shift books that I never thought I would ever pass out. And now it's like toilet paper. Okay. All right, guys. I got to hop on the leadership call. We have our, what did we say, 1:30 or 12:30?
1:30.
1:30 will be the buyer's presentation. Don't forget about the Market Center call at 11. And if you need anything, let me know, please. We've updated all. I made a big mistake. I'm sorry, guys, and I forgot to hit the record button yesterday morning. But all the other sessions have been recorded, okay? Oh,
So
one last thing.
Oh, go ahead.
This is what Gary said the other day. I think I've said it to you before. Coronavirus isn't the only thing that's contagious. Okay, your attitude is contagious. Your mindset is contagious. Fear is contagious. Happiness is contagious. Smiling is contagious, right? Taking action towards your goal is contagious, right? We can't control what's going to happen out there, but we can control how we're going to react to it. And the more positive stuff we put into our head, the better off everything will be. Go ahead, Heather.
I was just going to ask for the 11 o'clock, I'm doing a notary for another fellow agent whose clients are like 90 years old. So I'm going to like visually watch them sign and then notarize.
Yeah.
For the 11 o'clock, where would I go to find these things? You don't have to answer me now because I know you have to get on a call. You could just text me.
Aubrey sent out an email to everybody like 2 days ago.
No, I have that, but I'm saying like, since I can't participate in the 11 o'clock, would I be able to, do they get recorded? Where would I find that?
I'll ask Aubrey in just a second. If there's a repository for the recordings. And I did, just so you know, I was going to take it out of the PC folder, but I decided not to. I did a mastermind with a couple of my recruits the other day. Some of the recruits that that make some calls with me and for me, or for themselves really, but for my benefit too. And we just did a mastermind around the market. So if you guys want to watch that, it's from a few days ago, you're more than welcome to. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks.